Now, as you have understood how goods purchased and goods sold are to be treated, let us start with our first transaction. My first transaction is goods purchased for rupees 100. Now, students, it is a financial transaction. It is measured in money, and that is why it can be recorded in books. Always remember, if any transaction is non financial or cannot be measured in money, then we are not going to record in the books of accounts. Now, in this transaction, our task is to find first two accounts. Now, as my words goods purchased are coming, so I have written goods purchased, and as there is goods purchased, we are using purchase account. Now, I have already done a discussion with it that when purchase account is there, it is treated as nominal. Why? Because we buy goods for the purpose of selling it. That's why it is a money spent to generate income, and that's why it is my expense. As this is my expense, and as per the rule of nominal account, all the expenses are debited, so purchase account will be debited. Now, when you have a transaction and there is nothing written that this transaction is of cash or credit. Now, student, listen very carefully. There are two ways to make a transaction. One is cash, like if I buy something and pay through cash, it will be called as cash transaction. But if I am going to buy something and not going to pay, then it will be a credit transaction. So, how will you find out that it is a cash transaction or credit transaction? Then remember, when in a transaction, nothing is given, no word cash, no word of any name, nothing it is, then we are going to treat it as a cash transaction. Like here it is written only goods purchased for rupees 100. It is not written from whom we have purchased, how we have purchased. So we will treat it as a cash transaction. This is how we have used the other account, that is cash account. Now, students, cash is money and money is our assets. I hope you remember the definition of asset. Now, generally, materials and things are considered into real account. So, cash will be treated as real account. Now, remember what is the rule of real account? Real account says debit what comes in and credit what goes out. You can see here cash is going out or it goes out. As it goes out, we will make it credit. Now, this is how we are going to find two accounts and then their nature, and then we'll apply them as per rule debit and credit. Now, student, once we have learned how to classify it, let us try to know how to write them as journal entry. Now, it is not very difficult, but yes, it should be very proper. Now, always remember debit should come first and credit afterwards. Like here in our transaction, purchase account is debited. So we are going to write purchase first and then the other account. Here I have written purchase account debit. Remember the space what I am giving between the characters that you have to remember. Now, whatever account is credited, like here cash is credited, we will never write the word credit. To write a credit account, we use to, that is TO. Remember, T should be capital. And it should start. This is how. Try to maintain the way we are writing the journal entry. Do not apply in your own way. So here to cash account. Even when you are writing the values, they are right. I have written them in a diagonal way. Why? Because afterwards we will have a particular format for it. And in that format, you will have separate column for debit and credit. So students, right now we are not having a burden of making a format. Right now you emphasize more on learning the entry. I hope you have gone through very well with this entry. Just try to remember the entry and apply it on the other.